Welcome back to Monster Hunter. Capture device not found. The next day. 5! Kind of weird name, don't you think? Back to stalking Roberto and invading his privacy. So, his catchphrase is red. Or rather, the thing he keeps using. Like, I even forgot what Dan's catchphrase was. Amazing? I don't know. And I don't care. So you just wants to go on a trip without moving, if you know what I mean. Haha, my quota for the daily drug joke is filled. Now I only have to sneak in a penis joke and, well, I can end the episode. Ha! Fatalis. Good one, as if this monster exists in this game. Totally rad shroom hunt. I can remember one instance in my youth days when I was about, I don't know, 10 or 11, and I was way better at English than my classmates, and it wasn't that I was particularly good. The other ones just sucked, and I asked my English teacher, what does shroom mean? And she said,
Shroom? This doesn't exist. I know the word mushroom.
And this is one of my most let's say, it's not one of my memories I can remember the best, but this is one of my okay, treasured I can't say as well, but this is one of the memories where my teachers have failed me. I can remember one other instance, but it was in German class and not in English, but I digress. Let's talk to this mealings. I don't know what the indicator is, when it will appear. You can, at the beginning at least, buy some shady stuff from it. And basically, if you buy it once, it disappears. But in the post-game, you can buy infinite stuff from it. Very good stuff, by the way, so keep that in mind. Now that we've progressed through the story, we're probably going to get more quests. I'm going to take care of them off screen because it's mostly fetch this, kill this, murder this, and usurp the government and some regular stuff. And as you can see, a bunch of other things. Let's see, you can let's see, what do I have the most of? Tropical berries. For those people who were asking themselves where to get paw print tickets from, not paw pass ticket, I mixed them up quite a lot in the past. Paw print tickets can be obtained from the barrel felines. Barrel felines are the ones who are yielding 10k experience. 11,500 if you have the experience buff, which I told you to always have active from the prayer pot. It would sound a little bit awkward if I told you, yeah, just get some pot and then you gain more experience. My video would be flagged as inappropriate for teenagers or younger viewers for ever. Let's see, the next quest we have is fetching some blue mushrooms, I think. But before that, I forgot the last time to fight Gendromes, because I have to tell their pattern, which is stupidly obvious to you guys. But it's not stupidly obvious, it's basically the same as every other drone monster, except Cephadrome, but he's another, and Bodrome. Those two are another cup of tea. Let's see, the closest Gendrome should be around here, somewhere, whoops. Damn. Swine flu has gotten the best of me. Let's see, there should be one down here if I drop down. Ah, there he is. Gendromes use speed. They also have a ability which is very nice. It's called Paralysis Fang. Let me get my charger real quick. Paralysis Fang is a speed-based ability. I keep saying technique because it's, well, ingrained in my memory. When I say technique and then I'm going to name an ability, I mean ability. They prefer speed attacks and they have an ability called Paralysis Fang, which is very nice. I would recommend using it on monsters as a gene. If you have one gene slot open and don't know what the heck you're going to teach them, because paralysis is hella nice. Nice. And just use some technical attacks to counter them. Occasionally they're going to use power attacks, but it's not that common actually. And you can just spam actually some technical attacks and don't care. Now my Nerskilla wants to roar, but hell no, because it wouldn't even affect them. I also gave it Savage Thunder Breath for no reason, because it was very close to being Thunder Elemental anyway, and I had one slot left, so I gave it Savage Thunder Breath. It doesn't deal nearly as much damage as... also has a Thunder Bingo. It doesn't deal nearly as much thunder damage as... or damage in general as the Red Kedzu can dish out, but it's there. And Gendrome is dead. The piss yellow color that the Nerskilla has looks weird, but every coloration on Nerskilla looks shitty. Just take my word for it, because, well, Nerskilla only gets one color hue, not actually actual color on it, but rather a small tint of red or yellow or something like that, and it looks shitty. Now that we've taken care of this, let's take another monster who's a little faster. The stubby tail of Raytheons looks hideous. It's a little better for Rathalos and Raytheon, and its variants, but it looks still pretty awkward. Their legs, they extend further behind the monster than the actual tail, which... this is not how balance works, game, especially if the head is as big as my ego. Now to the jungle. We should be actually encountering two new bigger monsters, so I can tell you their patterns as well. Which is actually should be the only reason why you are watching this playthrough compared to other playthroughs, because I don't know, teaching stuff, explanation, shitty penis jokes, and that's pretty much it. I can't offer more to you. That's all I have. You can encounter those thingies. Those are the strongest... what the fuck? Creepy. Those are the strongest herbivores, and those are the only herbivores you can get. You want a piece of ass? Too bad you can't. And they spam power attacks, and sometimes you're going to get molested by Vespoids while looking at their asses, but Vespoids are basically Benahabras, or it's actually the other way around, because Vespoids were there first, but their pattern is the same as Benahabras. If they don't shower you with their secretes, which Vespoid actually can't do, they only can use Paralysis Needle and nothing else. Maybe they can use another usual technic attack, but I didn't actually pay attention too much. Their Paralysis Needle has a very high chance of actually inflicting paralysis, 50% I think, which is the most potent paralysis attack in the whole game. And that's pretty much it. Pink Raytheon looks badass with pretty much every element, just as regular Raytheon, which I meant the first time when I said Raytheon, but Pink Raytheon slipped out, my bad. And there's one Gypsyros, whatever, and he wants a piece of my Pink Raytheon, my regular Raytheon. I'm just going to call her Garnet because that's her name. Hooah! Gypsyros is he likes using power attacks, and sometimes he's going to use technic attacks, but at the beginning of the fight he usually likes to spam Venom, which just is a non-damaging attack with a very high possibility of actually poisoning you. My Raytheon has 2 ice attacks and 2 fire attacks, 1 sleep needle and 1 poison spike. Poison spike is, well, it's a poison tail flip, but it won't do us any good in this fight because Gypsyros is very resistant to poison if he's not immune to it. Sleep needle is the ability from Nurse Killer, and in this fight, since he is weak to fire, I'm going to use fire. My Raytheon is equally strong with fire as it is with ice, but since it has an ice bingo, ice edges out fire by a little bit. So I can either use Ice Toss for single targeting, Spread Frost Breath for multi-targeting, and the same goes for Fire Breath for 1 and Spread Fire Breath for multiple. But since I want to kick both of their asses, and Gypsyros will probably use power, I'm going to use a multi-attack to get rid of the Vespoid. At first I thought Gypsyros will probably use technique, because I don't know, it looks like a technical shitter, but it's power actually. Its Spread Fire Breath looks amazing. There's an even stronger multi-fire attack in the game, but you can't get that until late post-game. So it will be using Venom, since it has no line connecting my monster and itself. So let's just use Fire Breath. And I'm going to use Speed again. Since it's made of rubber and my Greatsword is thunder, my attacks won't do any damage at all, except maybe 50 or 40, which is not that much. But I can't really complain. 61, alright. Now that this is taken care of, Gypsyros is also a pretty weak monster. I noticed that the HP of the monsters from the ice area to the Monsoon Plains and Barbuda Jungle doesn't really increase that much. Bulldrum, for example, has 800 HP. The Tigrex had about 1200, 500 at most, or I think 1200, 500 is pretty accurate. So now that we've taken care of this, Gypsyros had about the same HP as a Bulldrum, so weird. You can't go this way now, since, well, plot walls, and there are pretty strong monsters, at least for this part of the game, in this area. So we can go here anyway. See, can we take a glimpse of any monster who are roaming around there? We can't. Nope, we can't. Probably our only smelly fat monkeys there anyway. Kinda accurate, actually. Let's go the other way then, and oh, I thought the Gypsyros would have spawned again. It didn't. No, wait. Ah. I don't really need healing, but I can save, I guess. Aha! So is there... it just dawned on me. Since we left the Hunter Guild Hall, I didn't have the chance to actually pick up the Poogie that was standing around in the hallway, which is pretty bad because I may or may not forget it in the next few hours, minutes I'm going to play this game. I'm going to have to remind myself a little bit later. Just consider that Poogie picked up. Picking up pigs sounds like that one time when I was dating my ex-girlfriend. Let's go this way then. I hope there won't be big spiders or something in this forsaken forest. But that would be crazy. Haha. I would recommend you to bring... to bring a monster which has the ability to climb vines. Because, for example, Nerskilla, for example, because of this nitty little vine, which yields the... Let's see if I'm actually right. A Poogie, I think. Which yields the ability to get some bugs and nothing else. Well, this was pretty shitty, actually, as far as treasures go. Let's just jump down there. I hope you're not arachnophobic, by the way, in case, if you are, screw you! And there are a lot of Poogies down there as well. I think 2 or 3 or even more. The last time I played, and I used Monster Hunter Kita to actually get the Poogies I forgot the last time, I found a bunch of them here. Oh, whoops, wrong way. Sort of, Vespoid scum. Whoops. Can backtrack here as well, but I don't really see much reason to do it. And there's one Gipsaros around here. Let's just put my Nerskilla to use. I can show the fight on screen because I can show my Nerskilla, which I already did, I think. I did. Alzheimer's? I did with Gendro, yeah. The way it uses Poison Spike looks very weird because it could potentially use the same animation for Paralysis Fang. Let's show you. I'm going to get rid of this Vespoid in the meantime. Let's just use speed because so I can build up my combo for Gipsaros. King of the jungle, don't make me laugh. It basically throws itself on the monster, but the way it uses paralysis attack, for example, is weird, to say the least. Speed! Whoa, use tech. Outsmart me. It could use the same attack for animation for Poison Spike, but it didn't want to. Do I have enough kinship points for another attack? Nope. It also learns a Jump Strike, which is a regular technic attack with maybe slightly more damage than a regular technical attack. And it also has Jump Strike, which is... No, I just said what Jump Strike does. It also has a Speed Seal, which prevents the monster from using speed attacks. There's only one instance I can think of where this is actually very, very useful. And it's when a monster is spamming, what's it called? Dash combo, for example. Or not for example, this is pretty much the only instance. When it uses dash combo and you want to cancel it out of it before it deals massive damage. Whoops, I had a brain fart. I could have used Techno and just beaten it, but doesn't matter, it's dead anyway. And to prevent the monster to enhance the strength of the attack, just use Speed Seal. But this is pretty much the only reason why. Because if you're using Speed Seal to... because you know that the monster is using speed a lot, you could just use Technique and build up bond points to deal more damage. Maybe if you want to make the monster more predictable, but if you seal its primarily attack, it's probably going to end up using its technical attacks, or not technical attacks, I mean abilities. Oops, drop down. So now that we drop down, there is the first Poogie. There should be at least 2 more here, because the last time I was here, I picked one up, but this sheet for Monster Hunter Kita, which shows you the Poogie locations, told me there are more of them here. 2 more, actually. Not 2 more, 2 more, I mean 2 more. Well, the growth of on Barrel's head looks kind of like a tumor, but... well, maybe it's some kind of Japanese fashion. There's the second one. Let's see, there should be at least 1 more. No, here maybe... no, it doesn't look like it. No. Should be here then, somewhere. Or didn't I pick up any of those the last time? This is also a possibility. Well, if I forgot one, then I'm going to pick it up sooner or later anyway. Alright, now that we've taken care of this... oh wow, this is coming in handy actually. Now that we've taken care of this, let's drop down... see, is there something else? No. Let's drop down here to those mushrooms, even though you can get regular mushrooms anywhere else. So, let's see... alright. Let's fight the mushroom monster. Oh, he wanted us to bring him some prime shrooms. Alright. No, I was just joking around. It's actually a huge spider. Which is weak as fuck, because the only thing you should be aware of is its sleep needle, and which is followed by a sleep chaser attack. Other than that, it's spamming technique attacks. Why I brought Barroth for this fight is... I don't know, because Barroth... Are you kidding me? I just wanted to say Barroth is preferring speed attacks and uses basically nothing else, but now it's using power attacks, which I'm going to do too, except if it's going to use a sleep needle, which is power attack. If this happens, then... well, it did happen. Bummer. So let's see. Let's just use Sand Breath. Sand Breath is the... I think it's the strongest water attack in the game. Which doesn't say much because Sand Breath is pretty weak. But what it does, what is my favorite status, is Blind. Blind countered with... combined with... what's it called? Evasion. Blind with Evasion is an OP combo, because if you have an Evasion L gene, the monster is blind, and you have Tornado Evasion gene, for example, with a Tornado active, the monster won't hit you at all. I think the chance to actually get hit is 10%, which is huge if you only have 1 attack per turn. Alright. You've seen that I barely take any damage. This is not only because I'm over-leveled as hell, it's because the monsters here, compared to Raytheon, Pink Raytheon, Tigrex for example, deal pretty few damage. I think even Red Kezu in the Dark Snowfield deals more damage than the bosses we fought For example, Gypsyros and Nurskilla and Ludroth are pretty weak. The next stronger monsters will appear once we've gone to the desert. Let's use Lethal Tackle, which I gave him for no reason actually. It's only because of the water gene. It's a water gene from Bulldrum to have a water bingo. And it uses power attack again, which always lands a critical, except... What the fuck, why do you counter me? Ah! It's a scripted battle, I forgot. The attack which I use right now, which I can't remember the name of again, I think it was Lethal Tackle or something. No! We're gonna die! And our monster has vanished into thin air. Hire me, Capcom, as a voice actor. It's always a critical, but it only has a 50% chance of hitting. And I absolutely loathe those attacks who are only 50% hit rate. For example, Tigrex's innate ability is also a 50% hitting attack. Deals massive damage, but it's, yeah. 50% is like 5% for me. I tend to whiff all the time. This is probably the only instance where I actually hit it. The monster, that is. So let's use Mud Throw to negate its special attacks to reliably be able to counter its technical attacks all the time. For some reason, Nurskilla is highly resistant to water, even though it should be resistant to thunder. It's resistant to thunder in the main game as long as it has its Gypsyros skin over its body, which is what it's on its back, in case you haven't noticed before. It skinned in Gypsyros and put it over his back. Yummy. Let's use, I think it's resistance to skill rate actually. It has a lot of resist skill rate genes on it as far as I can remember. And I think if it's getting rid of the skin, it's resistant to water, but afterwards, whoops. But afterwards it's weak to water. Resistance to water, but weak to thunder if it sheds the skin. Or something like that. I can't remember anymore, but as long as it has the Gypsyros skin, it's resistance to thunder, which it isn't. As you can see, the numbers are not blue, but it's dead. And it has very low HP. I think around maybe around Red Castle level, which is not a lot, considering that we're 2 or 3 areas past the Dark Snowfield. And also it gives as much experience as the Pink Rathian, but only this one. Regular Nurskillas don't give this much HP experience. He did one attack, which didn't do any damage. Well, they're nutritious. So this covers this part. Can I save? Oh no, no more cutscenes! Thanks you, I don't know, Sunhead? You can always tell apart the special characters from the filthy normie peasants, by their hairstyle. Especially in anime. My birth just doesn't give a shit. It probably is thinking about eating their Nerskilla, since births eat bugs and insects, by the way. Nerskilla isn't a bug or an insect because it's technically considered as a spider, but spiders have 8 legs and Nerskilla has 4, so what the hell is it even? That totally reminds me of something my old teacher once said. Become the beast deeper. Little money. Time for, I guess, story time. Don't worry, Tigrex are pussies in this game. Well, at least they are stronger than the first Nagakuga we fight, which was a total pussy compared to pussies. Now I filled my vagina quota as well. A successful part once again. He speaks like he has brain damage or he is high as a kite. I was like, whoa, the wind was like my breath, and the water like my blood. Got me? Pass that blunt, friend. Probably the thrill of battle. What the fuck? Is this some kind of symbolic, I don't know, teachings they want to spread or something? Is it dead or is it sleeping? This is the dead monster, dead Tigrex animation. So he blacked out of his shroom trip and then just kicked some 20-meter Tigrex monster's ass. So deep, dude. Ha! This game is about riding monsters, like, well, it's all about riding, like, dude, get that? Maybe if we were going to talk to him like this, he may or may not understand us quicker. I'm more leaning to he may, probably. I've never spoken a single word in my life! Stop asking me questions, you furry fuck. My Barrett is like, please ride me. Hey, this reminds me of me and my girlfriend. I always have the same look in my eyes. Please ride me, you fuck. Ah, save progress. Now I can finally end the part here. And I think record another part, because I want to advance a little bit. At least until I have semi-access to the desert. So that I can power grind more. Well, this time it's kind of unavoidable, because I want to get the new monsters, which are there. And I'm going to, after this conversation, end the part, and then I'm going to record another one. Disgusting. She looks pretty, I won't lie, she looks pretty hot in the anime. Kind of, at least for a drawn character. But here she is as flat as Lilia. Every girl in this game is flat. And she just busted into his house for no reason, like we do all the time. Yay. Ooh, it looks like a huge rabbit turd. Of a sick rabbit, actually. Because it's all yellow. Or it looks like a swollen testicle. No, that's a great mental image. Ah! My screen went black. Yeah, there aren't actually many monsters in the jungle, and you can only get one cave in there. And this cave only spawns if you kick the Gypsyro's ass and it leaves into its den. Which is... well, if you want a Gypsyro's, it's nice, but it's a bit weird, since this makes sense because this makes more sense why the jungle dens are there, because it would be tedious otherwise to get certain monsters in the jungle, especially in the post-game. It took me, I think, a week to get a specific monster in the post-game to spawn into in a cave, or rather its egg. Can I just, please? No, stop talking! The loud crier. I don't know why I find this funny. Finally, we're going to see each other in the next part. After I'm done with the part after this one, I'm going to take care of the side quests, and once we're done with... Okay. Sneaking up on the booty. This is my student.